Hello, and welcome to the lesson on distribution. So we're going to start over here with some notes. When you distribute a term, you multiply it by the other terms, and you combine it if possible. So let's look at example what we mean. Simplify each term using the distributive property. So we talked about the distributive property a couple of lessons ago, but when we do this, we're going to multiply 4 by 3 and 4 by 2. And then we're going to combine if possible. 12 and 8 are numbers, and therefore we can combine them to make 20. Let's do the same thing to the next one. So negative 5 times 1, negative 5 times negative 7. And then combine if possible. So let's just look at what those looked like, right? So basically what we did is we did 4 times 3 plus 4 times 2, right? That's the distributive property. Here we did negative 5 times 1 plus negative 5 times negative 7. And then we combined those. Okay, so that's what the distributive property tells us to do. We can use the distributive property to distribute terms that have variables as well. So when you distribute a term outside the parentheses to terms inside the parentheses, you are going to multiply. Okay, so let's do a couple of examples. So we have two sets of parentheses here, right? We have this set of parentheses subtracted by this set of parentheses. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this set of parentheses. We'll write out all the steps. So we have 5 times x plus 5 times 3. And we're going to do this set. Minus 3 times x. And now this one's a little bit trickier, but we're going to change the sign. So plus negative 3 times negative 6. Okay, this looks crazy, right? It looks like there's a lot going on. We're going to show you how to simplify it even more in the next one. But for now, I'm just going to write everything out. So what did we do? Let's talk about it. We did 5 times x plus 5 times 3. And then this subtraction sign kind of threw us for a loop a little bit, right? But we still are going to do minus, because there's a negative, right? And a positive here. Minus 3 times x plus negative 3 times negative 6. And now we're going to just simplify. So 5 times x is 5x plus 15 minus 3x plus negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18. And with this positive out here already, it stays positive. And now we're going to go ahead and see if we can combine like terms. And we can, right? Because we said anything that has the same variable with the same exponent is a like term. So these guys are like terms, and that's going to give us 2x. And these guys are also like terms. 15 plus 18 is 33. And so this is going to be our final simplified answer. All right, let's do the next one. And this time we're going to cut out the part with all the extra distribution. We're going to cut this whole part out so I can show you what it looks like. It's going to be a little bit neater, okay? It's just going to require some quicker math. So negative 2 times x, what is that? That's going to give us negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 4, multiplication, plus 8. Now we have this set, right? Let's switch colors so we can see them. So this set was blue. Now we're going to do this set, right? 4 times x is positive 4x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. And then this guy actually we're just going to bring down. And now we're going to go ahead and see if there's any like terms that we can combine. So we know that anything with the same variable and exponent can get combined. And we also know that numbers can always be combined. So negative 2x plus 4x is 2x. 8 minus 4 is 4, plus 5 is 9. then let's do the last one. We're going to do the last one here. So we're going to say 8 times a is 8a. 8 times negative 5 is negative 40. Negative a, negative 1. So here is another thing that might happen, right? We know if there's no sign, it's really a 1, right? So we're just going to multiply that 1 by what's inside the parentheses. So negative 1 times a is just negative a. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. And then we're going to do the last set. 4 times a, and 4 times negative 9. Let's go ahead and combine like terms. And why are those like terms? Because they have the same variable and the same exponent, which is technically 1. And then all of our numbers are also like terms. So 8a plus 8a minus a, so 8a minus a is 7a. 7a plus 4a is 11a. And then we have negative 40 minus 3 is negative 43. Negative 43 minus 36 is negative 79. Okay. Let's go ahead and try some practice examples. I would pause the video, give it a try, see if you can do them, and then come back and we're going to check your answers here. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply. So 8 times x is 8x. 8 times 3 is negative 24. Minus 2 times x. Minus 2 times 1. Go ahead and combine like terms. And that's our final answer. So there are different ways you can combine like terms. You might have learned about the shapes, right? I don't know, tell me if you, well, I can't hear you, but you might have learned like put triangles, right? And then put squares, or, do circles and, stars, or however your teachers taught you. You could do anything. You can change the colors if you have colors. If you don't have colors, you could just simply go like this and make different types of number of lines underneath, whatever you have available. All right, let's do the next one. We're going to check that and see if you got them right. Negative 2 times a. Negative 2 times negative 4. 3 times a. 3 times 3. And remember that negative 7 is just going to stay outside the parentheses. We don't need it yet. And then we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. Negative 2 plus 3 is just a, right? It's really 1a, but you're not going to see the 1 anymore now that you're in algebra. And then we're going to go 8 plus 9 minus 7 is 10. Okay. Ooh, let's do some decimals. Okay. 0.5 times x is just 0.5x. 0.5 times 6 this is really just a half, right? So here's a fun way you could do it without a calculator. This is a half. Multiplication means of. So what this is asking is, what is 1/2 of 6? Well, 1/2 of 6 is just 3. Okay, plus 0.5 of x. And then this one is asking what? What is 1/2 of negative 6? Well, 1/2 of negative 6 is negative 3. Okay, so whenever you're dealing with fractions or decimals and you're multiplying them, you're just thinking like, what is that 1/2 of that number? And that way you can do it without a calculator. 0.5 plus 0.5, 2 halves is just 1 whole. 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 plus 1 is just 1. Okay, so how'd you do on that side? Hopefully very well. Okay, let's do the next. So again, remember we said anything with a negative sign in front just means that there's an imaginary 1 that we're going to multiply in. So negative 1 times x is negative x. negative 1 times 9, negative 1 times x, negative 1 times negative 5. And then these guys are not in parentheses, so we have to just bring those down with us. And now we're going to go ahead and combine like terms, right? So all of our x's and all of our numbers. Negative x minus x is negative 2x. Negative 2x minus 6x is negative 8x. Negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So we actually are done. It's just 8x, negative 8x. Love when that happens. All right, 6 times p. 6 times 4. Negative 3 times p. Negative 3 times 9. Combine like terms. 6p minus 3p is 3p. 24 minus 27 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus another 1 is negative 4. Okay, and last one. Did we get 6 out of 6? Let's see. Negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Negative 6 times negative 3 is 18. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 6. And then this guy's outside the parentheses, so he's going to combine, but we're just going to bring him down. Combine like terms. Combine like terms. Negative 6x plus 5x is negative x. Negative x plus 9x is 8x. And then we have 18 minus 30, right? 18 minus 30, which is just negative 12. Okay, so that's the whole lesson on distribution. Remember, when you're distributing a term from the outside of the parentheses, you're going to multiply the number outside the parentheses by the numbers inside, and then you're going to combine like terms. So I will see you in the next video.